Undertale. Damn. Damn. Undertale is a game developed by Toby Fox, pretty much single-handedly. I think he had someone else help with the character design stuff, but for the most part, the levels, the story, the soundtrack especially, was developed by Toby Fox himself. Now, what is Undertale? Undertale is a game. I think, like I said, I think it originally came out in 2016. It's 2019 now. Of course, it was 2018 a few days ago. And I was watching different things on it just because I was bored, laying around watching YouTube, and I was watching Game Theorist. And he was doing a bunch of stuff on it. And of course, game theories are really... Game theories, typically, people read too much into stuff. But I thought it was interesting enough to check out. I'm like, I'll download Undertale. Why not keep myself, occupied for a little bit. But holy hell, did I underestimate it. Now, aesthetically and mechanically, it's essentially shit weather. It's essentially an RPG similar to the old school Nintendo and SNES RPGs. So if you're one of those people who's a big stickler for modern mechanics and graphics, and you think, oh, well, it looks like this and it looks like that, it's complete shit, blah, 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 blah. It ain't for you. Me, I typically am an open-minded person, and gameplay and story outweigh graphics any day. Like, in preparation for Insomniac's Spider-Man, I played Spider-Man for the PS1. Yeah, the graphics aged horribly, but the game's amazing. But I digress. Undertale has a very old school aesthetic to it, gameplay and graphics. But it's good. It's really good. It's simple enough to where anybody can get into it. But it's complex enough to draw you in on a personal level. I'm trying to think now. My brain's starting to melt. Too many incense and coffee. Yeah, it's a great game. Essentially, you play as a kid, and there's this barrier separating the monster world from the human world, because a long time ago, and this is in like the intro, so it's not like it's a spoiler or anything. But there's a barrier there between the monsters who live underground and the people who live above ground, because there's a war a long time ago and the monsters were banished. You're a kid, you end up falling through, and you're going on this little adventure. And you can do it one or two ways. You can be nice and befriend people and just, be a positive person. Or you can be an asshole. Now, anyone who's played the game or has heard about the game or has watched stuff on the game, there's something called a neutral, pacifist, and genocide route. Me, I always try to be the good guy in the games. No matter if there's any kind of choice, I'm like, no, I'm going to be good. So I'm like, don't kill anybody, don't kill anybody, don't kill anybody, don't kill anybody. Playing the whole way through, try not to kill people. And it was hard at times. But I managed to do it. And as you go along, the characters are very well developed. You have Sans, who's very witty. You have Papyrus, who's kind of a dumbass, but he's an adorable dumbass. He's one of those people that wants to succeed. And, I'm gonna do this, and he's gonna fail at it, but you can't help but like the guy for it. There's Undyne. There's Alphys. There's it's just great. You grow attached to these people, these characters, like they're real people, because they have their problems and their stipulations and their own hopes and dreams. And all the monsters want to eventually get out of the underground, but they're trapped down there. Because yeah, there was a war a long time ago, but you come to the understanding that the monsters aren't bad. They want to live on the surface. They want to interact with humanity. Yeah, somebody did something way long ago or whatever, and that sucks, but they're not bad. And you start to connect with them, and you start to form bonds with your characters along with their journeys. Because you're trying to get to the king, because the king apparently is like this really big pushover. He's this really super nice guy, and he'll let you go back home. And so that's essentially what your journey is. You gotta meet the king, go back home. You form all these relationships along the way, and you fight most of the people you encounter. And you can go about one of two ways. You can fight them, or you can try to avoid the fight. There are some instances in which you have to fight them a little bit. But you can still spare them. Me, I was going for the pacifist route. So I spared every single person. It did require a little bit of grinding on my part, because there's a fight with the character later on in which you can actually essentially pay your way out of that fight, and that's what I did. I'm like, I had to look it up I had to Google the stuff and look it up. I'm like, how do you get out of this fight with this one character? It's like, oh well, you can grind for this, and it sucked. I did not like grinding. I really don't. But I did. I put on YouTube and listened to stuff while I did it, so it made it less miserable. But I eventually bought my way out of that fight, and I had to do grinding a few more times to help out with certain situations. But I was able to complete my pacifist route, and I'm trying to avoid spoilers here. But there's some fake outs. It's similar to how God of War on the PS4 is. How your princess is in another castle. That's essentially what you're doing. A couple fake outs, especially when you get to these big parts. You're like, oh, okay, the journey's not over. And even when the game does end, to get like the true pacifist route, which I was trying to go for, I essentially had to go back into the game and do a few little extra things they added in to get the ending I wanted. I was like, oh, okay. Because when I get to the second to last fight, I'm like, all right, I'm going to spare this person, But then they die anyways. I'm like, what? No! I've been nice to everybody. I've made all kinds of friends. I haven't killed a single person. No! Of course, it was one of those fake outs. And I was able to save that person later on. And if you're trying to go for the true pacifist route, the final fight, there's a lot of weight to it. Because, essentially the world's being destroyed and timelines and blah, 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 blah. And so there's weight, there's gravity to it. And even though the fighting mechanics, it's not like Metal Gear Rising with, when you play as Raiden, where you're just all over the place. It's not like that, but it has that same sense of high-paced urgency, which is weird, because you really shouldn't, but it does, and it works. And you get the dialogue that's going on, which none of it's spoken. It's all text-based, like an old-school RPG. But like I said, you have these tiny little things hidden in the world, things you read, things you see, things you hear. And there's more backstory, there's more underneath the surface than what's first presented. And as you're going through your journey, you're like, oh, hold on, let me read this a little bit. Oh shit. And it drives home the point that all these monsters in the underground, they're people. They have lives and families and hopes and dreams and aspirations and fears. It was hauntingly relatable. You start to care about them. It's a simple game, but it's deep as hell. It's deceptively deep. And not only that, the little things in the world and the dialogue and the way things play out, but the music, the soundtrack. Oh my god, it's amazing, from the most high octane thing to the simplest of melodies. It's very fitting. And by the end of it, I was happy, I was sad, I was all up about it, and it was intense, like a roller coaster almost. And I don't know, it was. I mean, the final fight, I'm not gonna lie, I was crying. Tears coming out of my eyes. I'm like, you son of a bitch. No, the power of friendship will see me through. It shouldn't have been that intense, but it was. It was like, it was kind of how you felt whenever Vegeta died in Dragon Ball Z when he was fighting Boo, and to go off track, Pickle's like, for the first time in his life, Vegeta's fighting for something other than himself. And before that, he hugs Trunks and tells him, I haven't held you once since you were a baby. I'm like, and you think about Vegeta's character and how what he's doing now, and the recognition of what he has to do, and the fact that he's messed up so much, and he didn't realize until just then what his family and his friends and his new home meant to him. It's impactful. It's that same emotion you get in that scene is what Undertale makes you feel, especially towards the end. I was like, but then once everything resolves and it's good, you still feel bittersweet because the journey is over, and that's when you start to it being over. That's not where you end up. It's not about the destination, Jack. It's about the journey. And when it finally does end, you think back about your whole journey, the friends you made, the relationships, the very real and human connections, and what everything meant, and the larger world that surrounds these people. It made me appreciate my own life that much more. And it made me, even in the worst of situations, happy to have what I have. So yeah, Undertale. I've got it on PS4. I know you can get it on PC. You can get it on Xbox. I want to say it's coming to the Switch. I'm not too sure. You'd have to look into that yourself. But however you can get it. If you got a PC, if you got a PS4, whatever, it's well worth. I think it's like $15 I paid for it. But it's good. Well, like I said, the soundtrack alone is worth listening to. I'm listening to it right now on Spotify as I'm doing this video, and it's really, really good. I've also got it on vinyl for some reason. It's also but yeah, I mean, this is a sample of it right here. This is what's playing during the final fight. And it's great. You're like, yes! Sorry. But yeah, Undertale. Check it out, download it, play it. It's great. If I had a rating, I would say fabulous. It is a fabulous ass game. Well, excuse me, I'm gonna go play Chrono Trigger now. Later.